social media, to television, to what other people are doing, thinking, or saying. Okay. Let's find more. Okay. The present is all we possess. Were you to live 3,000 years or even a countless multiple of that, keep in mind that no one ever loses a life other than the one they are living, and no one ever lives a life other than the one they are losing. The longest and the shortest life then amount to the same, for the present moment lasts the same for all and is all anyone possesses. No one can lose either the past or the future, for how can someone be deprived of what's not theirs? Damn, Marcus Aurelius, you're onto something. Oh no, something fell. No. An annotation, I don't know from what page. Lol. Very lol. Seriously, what you take for granted, others wouldn't even think to dream of. The best retreat is in here, not out there. And I highlighted a very short one. Wherever you go, there you are. There are two ways to be wealthy: to get everything you want, or to want everything you have. We buy things we don't need to impress people we don't like. If our lives are not ruled by reason, what are they ruled by? Impulse, whim, mimicry, unthinking habit. As we examine our past behavior, it's sad how often we find this to be the case. That we were not acting consciously or deliberately, but instead by forces we did not bother to evaluate. It also happens that these are the instances that we're mostly likely to regret. Your mind will take the shape of what you frequently hold in thought, for the human spirit is colored by such impressions. If we ever do want to become wise, it comes from the questioning and from humility, not, as many would like to think, from certainty, mistrust, and arrogance. If you want to learn, be humble. Throw out your conceited opinions, for it is impossible for a person to begin to learn what he thinks he already knows. Be Stoic has no uniform and resembles no stereotype. They are not identifiable by look or by sight or by sound. The only way to recognize them is by their character. Here is how to guarantee you have a good day. Do good things. The right thing to do always comes from our reasoned choice. What will you manage to make of the day before it slips from your fingers and becomes the past? When someone asks you what you did yesterday, do you really want the answer to be nothing? Kindness is always the right response. When someone says something pointed or mean today, they expect you to respond in kind, not with kindness. When that doesn't happen, they are embarrassed. It's a shock to their system. It makes them and you better. Most rudeness, meanness, and cruelty are a mask for deep-seated weakness. Kindness in these situations is only possible for people of great strength. You have that strength. Use it. We are what we repeatedly do. Aristotle said, therefore, excellence is not an act, but a habit. I'm trying to find more highlights. Okay. I'm constantly amazed by how easily we love ourselves above all others, yet we put more stock in the opinions of others than in our own estimation of self. By Marcus Aurelius. I think like a good explanation, or to elaborate, we care about ourselves more than strangers we don't know, but for some reason, when they give us opinions, unsolicited opinions, we care about them so much. Why? Right? Nice one, Marcus Aurelius. Next. Someone is a good person not because they say they are, but because they take good actions. One does not magically get one's act together. It is a matter of many individual choices. Let's try
Soft speaking. Is that okay? Okay, let me find one. If anything can go wrong, it will. So keep this reverse clause handy because we know we're probably going to have to use it. No one can thwart that. If we can't do this, then perhaps we can try that. And if we can't do that, then perhaps we can try some other thing. Why then are we offended? Why do we complain? This is what we're here for. I'll read the whole thing because it's short. No one said life was easy. No one said it would be fair. Don't forget, though, that you come from a long, unbroken line of ancestors who survived unimaginable adversity, difficulty, and struggle. It's their genes and their blood that run through your body right now. Without them, you wouldn't be here. You're an heir to an impressive tradition, and as their viable offspring, you're capable of what they are capable of. You're meant for this, bred for it. Just something to keep in mind if things get tough. Just don't make things worse. That's the title. So if you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Don't react for the sake of reacting. Leave it as it is and stop digging. Silence is a lesson learned from the many sufferings of life. The more you say, Robert Greene has written, the more likely you are to say something foolish. To that we add, the more you say, the more likely you are to blow past opportunities, ignore feedback, and cause yourself suffering. Marcus Aurelius also said, if it's humanly possible, then you can do it. Don't look around to see if people will know about it. Don't excuse yourself from doing them because the conditions aren't right or because a better opportunity might come along soon. Do what you can now. And when you've done it, keep it in perspective. Don't overblow the results. Shun both ego and excuse before and after. So always stay within your first impressions and don't add to them in your head. This way, nothing can happen to you. Another quote from Seneca that I always try to remember is, don't suffer imagined troubles. Next, we're never going to be perfect. We're human after all. Our pursuits should be aimed at progress, however little that it's possible for us to make. Okay, take charge and end your troubles. How many things you fear have actually come to pass? How many times has anxiety driven you to behave in a way you later regret? How many times have you let jealousy or frustration or greed lead you down a bad road? Letting our reason rule the day might seem like more work, but it saves us quite a bit of trouble. As Ben Franklin's proverb put in, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Your brain was designed to do this work. It was meant to separate what is important from what is senseless, to keep things in perspective, to only become troubled by that which is worth become troubled about. You only need to put it to use. And I wrote, we control our minds, it doesn't control us. Title, don't be miserable in advance. By longing for things to come, it will lose the ability to enjoy present things. Best case scenario, if the news turn out to be better than expected, all this time, okay wait, I'll start from the, sa simula para may context kayo. And in English, I'll start from the beginning so that you guys have context. The pragmatist, is that how you say it? The pragmatist, the person of action, is too busy to waste time on such silliness. The pragmatist can't worry about every possible outcome in advance. Think about it. Best case scenario, if the news turned out to be better than expected, all this time was wasted with needless fear. Worst case scenario, we were miserable for extra time by choice. That's when we overthink stuff, become nervous about it. And what better use could you make of that time? A day that could be your last? You want to spend it in worry? In what other area could you make some progress while others might be sitting on the edges of their seat passively awaiting some fate? Let the news come when it does. Be too busy working to care. If you give things more time and energy than they deserve, they're no longer lesser things. You've made them important by the life you've spent on them. And sadly, you've made the important things, like your family, your health, your true commitments, less so as a result of what you've stolen from them, which is time and energy. No person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to want what they don't have, and to cheerfully put to good use what they do have. A man's wealth must be determined by the relation of his desires and expenditures to his income. If he feels rich on $10 and has everything he desires, he really is rich. Whenever you take offense at someone's wrongdoing, immediately turn to your own similar feelings. Be as forgiving of them as you are of yourself. But if you deem as your own only what is yours, and what belongs to others as truly not yours, then no one will ever be able to coerce or to stop you. You will find no one to blame or accuse. You will do nothing against your will. You will have no enemy. No one will harm you because no harm can affect you. Someone can throw you in chains, but they don't have the power to change who you are. It is precisely in times of immunity from care that the soul should toughen itself beforehand for occasions of greater stress. Stuff cannot touch the soul. You've been granted a strong fortress. Don't betray it. Don't let negative thoughts into your soul, into your peace of mind, because you can control what goes in and out. Or at least what stays. They ask, is this opinion inside my control? If there is a chance for influence or change, they take it. But if there isn't, they accept this person as they are and never hate a hater. We don't have time to think about what other people are thinking, even if it's about us. That's on dealing with haters. Dealing with pain. Pain is never unbearable or unending, so you can remember these limits and not add to them in your imagination. Eventually, all would be well again. You just need to be strong and gracious enough to get through it. The point is not to have an iron will, but an adaptable will. It's not weak to change and adapt. Flexibility is its own kind of strength. In fact, this flexibility combined with strength is what will make us resilient and unstoppable. And I wrote, all would be well again, in whatever situation, in failing times, in losses, in pain, in heartbreaks, in struggles. Okay, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you want a part 2, because there are more pages to this book that I can share to you guys if you want to. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting.